Okay, I should be live. Let me just do something real quick. And then, yeah, I just want to do, in honor of May the 4th, I just thought it would be fun to do some Star Wars tier list because I wanted to do something Star Wars, but I did not have time to make a whole video, so I thought, this would be fun. So, yeah, I haven't talked about Star Wars that much in here, and that's because I love Star Wars. It's always been one of my favorite franchises, but the community can be a little toxic sometimes. So that's kind of like why I do not want to make a bunch of Star Wars videos. And even sometimes when I did, um, some of them that I have made, my opinions have changed a lot. Like I gave The Rise of Skywalker a very glowing review at first, and I don't hate that as much movie as some people do. Yeah, I don't know why I gave it that good a rating. I guess it's just how I was feeling when I first saw it. Just that like high on the movie, just watching a new Star Wars movie in the theater. But yeah. Um so yes. Let's start with some of these tier list. Let me pull up tier list here. What should I do for first? I'm gonna start with something that's not too controversial because I don't want to hop right into just my movie rankings and just in general, like I'd say my movie opinions and TV show opinions are pretty basic, pretty standard. But I feel like with Star Wars, it's just so divisive that you know not everyone's gonna agree. But I am gonna just go for it and share my real thoughts. But I'm gonna start off with something that I know most people in the Star Wars community like, and that is the Mandalorian episodes. So I'm gonna do. Should I do the Mandalorian and Boba Fett episodes? Mandalorian. Let me see. Is there one? Mandalorian slash Book of Boba Fett. There is this. Nice. Okay, let me just share my screen real fast. What am I trying to do? Share screen. Windows. Chrome tab. Share. Okay, you should be seeing this. So here are all the Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett episodes, and I'm actually going to split this up a little, and I'm gonna do. I mean, what am I gonna say? I want to add another tier because I like more than just this basic tier. I mean, I don't think anyone will be on D tier. Oh, actually, it is Book of Boba Fett too, so I'm gonna add a D tier too. Should I have like anything else besides that? Should I have like C minus or plus or like A minus? Maybe I want to add A minus. I'll think about it. But right now, I'm gonna do this. So yeah. The first episode. I've seen this episode of Mandalorian so many times. Because like I saw when it first came out, actually twice in the first day, because I saw it with like different members of my family, like first myself and then that. And then I've seen it just a bunch of other times, like showing it to other people, and then like I rewatched the season before season two. So I've watched this episode a lot, and I think it's just a really awesome start to the season and just or start to a series in general for like what a pilot needs to do. I feel like it just sort of hits all the sort of things. My only problem is like in the first like 8 minutes, kind of all takes place with that like we get quite a bit with the annoying blue guy. I forgot his name, Mithril, and there's like quite a bit with him just sort of being a little annoying, and I feel like that takes up too much of this runtime. That's only like 35, 30, like maybe a little bit longer, but I know it's like 40 minutes with credits, so probably like 35 minutes of the runtime. But after we get past that, I feel like it does a good job of introducing us to a bunch of the characters because almost all the recurring characters, besides Cara Dune, are in this episode. We get Greef Karga, we get we get the armor and get to learn about the Mandalorian stuff. So it really does a good job at building the world building. We get Quill, we get IG-11, we get the client, and then also it's just sort of, I feel like has this mini more self-contained journey. So by the end of the episode, you get this real like with the ending battle, it feels sort of like you went on this sort of like mini journey, which I feel like works, and then it ends with this twist, or not this twist, this reveal that does get you invested with Grogu. So I feel like it hits all the sort of things to really make a pilot work. And the action, I think, is the action scene at the end, I think is awesome. One of my favorite fight scenes of The Mandalorian. I already liked Din in this episode. I love IG-11. Yeah, so overall, I think this is an awesome start to the episode. And then we have chapter 2, which is sort of why I would want like an A-, because I don't know how to put this on B+ or A, because I'm gonna put on B+, but we'll see what I want to do, because I think that what am I saying? I think this episode, like the first 10 minutes of it, has like no dialogue, and it works super well. And like just in this one episode, you already love Grogu so much, and like just the relationship between him and Mando is already built so well within 10 minutes and with no dialogue, and now we get two like sort of cool action scenes. So like even though there's like no dialogue, it just works so well, and I think that really shows why The Mandalorian works so well. I feel like it's just this sort of directing that's able to draw you in even when there's not too much actual like story stuff. And I think that's why the show really works, and it works well with this episode. And then after that, we get Mando like having to go fight this like rhinoceros thing. And then that's a cool little battle and ends with like a cool reveal with Grogu being force sensitive. So I think all around it just really works well as an episode. Not one of my absolute favorites, but I'm a big fan of this episode. Maybe I should put an A tier. We'll see. And then next up, we have chapter 3, Sin, which is going to go into A tier. Because, yeah, this episode is really awesome. And another instance of this show doing visual storytelling is just like with Mandalorian's decision to go back and save Grogu. Like just like he doesn't like talk or like talk through like his things, but just and he's behind a mask. Yet somehow you really can connect to his character, and just like the stuff with like him like finding the little ball thing that Grogu loves and stuff. And then he goes back and decides to save Grogu, and it's just awesome with just this awesome action scene with him taking down these stormtroopers, and then we get him fighting all these other bounty hunters, and then all the Mandalorians come in. It's just awesome stuff, and like I remember just watching this episode the first time, like, oh, I love this show. After that episode, the season does take a little bit of a dip, as the next 2 episodes are my least 2 favorite episodes of the seasons. But at chapter 4, I still think it's good. So I'm going to put it on the B tier because I still think it's a solid episode, just not one of the best episodes of Mandalorian. It's basically just that 7 samurai type story. And it does it well, but not too amazing. So yeah, I'm going to do it there. And then chapter 5, which is my least favorite episode of The Mandalorian. yeah, I just don't like this other character. Totally forgot his name. I just do not like this character. I think that acting performance is not very good. I feel like the dialogue in this episode just feels off. I feel like this is like the fan servicey stuff, not in the best way. And I don't know, just like things about this just feels off. Dave Filoni, these two episodes in season one was his first time directing live action, and you can feel that a little bit, especially this episode. You actually don't really feel that much in the first episode, but this one out, I can sort of feel it. And yeah, I don't know. I just not quite the biggest fan of this episode in terms of Mandalorian, but you know what? I don't think it's bad. That's something on the C tier because C tier me is still okay, and that's what I think this episode is because I don't know. It's still got the high production value and like all that sort of stuff. And it's like it has some good moments and stuff too. So it's enough to go in C tier. Then the next one, chapter 6. I love this episode. I might love it more than some others, but I just think it works really well. Love this heist thing. I like this other sort of crew they assemble, especially with Mayfield, who after his appearance in season 2 becomes one of my favorite Mandalorian characters. But I like him here. I like the performance and like just visually looks really cool, really good at action. And then when Mandalorian is like taking them all out, that scene is just so well done. So I feel like just like the directing and like the whole thing just makes me love this episode. It's still like the other 2 episodes, these 3 episodes of the middle of season 1, all just him going on these missions. So you might feel like they're a bit too much filler-y, but I think just as a standalone episode, it works extremely well and adds some interesting stuff to Mandalorian's character, like getting glimpses of his past. And then also I feel like does some general Star Wars world building stuff, showing us at a different time. So that's why I feel like this episode is just a banger. And then episode 7, another just A tier episode. I love just getting to see all these characters and stuff that we sort of met throughout, sort of coming together, and you sort of get that like building to the climax stuff. It's like, yeah, I think it works really well. And then the Moff Gideon reveal, it's like, ooh, like even in just one scene, you can tell that Giancarlo Esposito's performance is pretty awesome, and just like he's going to be a cool villain. And I think it sets things up really well. The very, very emotional last scene with Quill. But so yeah, I think that episode is pretty awesome. Then we have my favorite episode of season 1, which is the finale. And I think it just does exactly what it needs to do as the finale. It has awesome action, awesome reveals, some nice character moments, like with IG-11, like revealing Din's face. Like I like the idea, like Din sort of finally getting over his hatred of droids, and we actually learn why he does hate droids too. But I like how he sort of with this gets over it. And then IG-11 has this awesome like sacrifice scene. And so yeah, I really love IG-11 and Mandalorian as characters in this episode. And then we get Moff Gideon has this awesome presence as a villain. We got just a bunch of like action-packed. It's action-packed from the whole thing. We have multiple cool action scenes. And I just feel like it's very satisfying as an ending and sets us off for where we need to go in season 2. Next episode. Now we're on to season 2. And the Marshal, I might like this a bit more. Like, this is a pretty loved episode. But for me, I have to put this on S tier because, I don't know, this episode just works so well for me. And, like, I don't know, just, like, fills me with so much joy. It's just still, it's the longest episode. And it's like, what am I trying to say? It is the longest episode, and it still is one of those more standalone stories, but I feel like it just feels very fleshed out. And I don't know, I think it all works really well. You have Cobb Vanth, who's an amazing supporting character. Just in this one episode, I already loved him. And then you have Jon Favreau just bringing a lot from the directing table and just handles this episode so well. And I feel like that's a big reason why it works. And I just remember, like, it's just a really good return to the world of The Mandalorian for its first episode. of season 2, and then you get this whole awesome end battle, like switches to the IMAX ratio. Very cool stuff that we get something on this scale in television, and just this whole show in general. Actually, the production value, the visual effects, the I don't know, all the stuff does feel very cinematic. Also, one thing I forgot to mention throughout the other thing, Ludwig Göransson's score is just absolutely incredible. One of my favorite scores. Love Ludwig Göransson. Hello, big man Fran. What is up? Yeah, glad you're here. Thanks for being here. And yeah, I'm just doing this Mandalorian Boba Fett tier list. And if you have any ideas for what Star Wars tier list I should do next, please give me ideas. This episode, the weakest of season 2, The Passenger. But you know what? I still like it. It's still a fun time. Not much to it, but I feel like just this like whole spider thing is like pretty cool. Beautifully shot. Like the whole show has amazing cinematography, but I think this has some really awesome cinematography and stuff. So it's just like a fun time for me, but not anything too good. So yeah, B tier. This one, episode 3, B plus. And this one, when I first watched it, I loved it, but I feel like the initial excitement of just seeing Bo-Katan and like those like does fade a bit. So that's why it's just in B plus and not in like that A tier. But I still really like this episode. It is interesting to finally get to see Bo-Katan in that and see the other side of Mandalorians, and so show Din how he's in a very specific like set of the Mandalorians who are very strict and stuff. Yeah. Ooh, yes. I totally will do a lightsaber tier list next. And yeah, I do think the Spider episode also does get a bit too much hate because I still think it's a solid episode. But yeah, what was I saying? But it's not one of my favorites. What am I saying? The Harris. Yes. I forgot where he's going because I looked at the comments. But yeah, good, cool end action scene. This actually might be one of the best shot episodes of the series. Has some awesome cinematography. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. But yeah, B plus. Oh, chapter 4, The Siege. Another episode that I feel like doesn't get talked about. Like this episode doesn't get talked about that much, but for some reason it just works super well for me. Like almost to the point where I just want to put it on A, but I don't know. I at least top a B tier. And this one is very just pretty much focused on the action element, but I feel like it just is so well done. The action scenes in this, like the in chase, the shootout stuff, like everything coming in when Mando finally comes in his ship and Grogu has like being all cute and then he like throws up. I feel like just all of it just works so well for me. And I feel like it's just a big testament to how this show can get me so invested and like just really work so well, even on the episodes where the story doesn't have as much like meat on it. And I think it's just like because of how well they execute each thing, it makes me really care even when there's not as much stuff on it. So yeah, I love this episode. And, maybe I should just put it on there. Why not? This is my list. Next one, The Jedi. This is one I need to rewatch because I only have seen it once, and it was like on an iPad because I was not at my home. But I loved it then, and I think I might even love it more in rewatch. But right now, I might just put it on A, but it could go to S tier. So we'll see. It's just awesome seeing Ahsoka return. The like design of the planet is like amazing. We get to learn stuff about Grogu and build his character, and get to see finally like dive a bit into who Grogu is. And I think it's really interesting to see like that. And then also that's actually where we learned his name is Grogu. I don't know. I love these characters, Mandalorian and Grogu. Cool, so cool seeing them with Ahsoka. So cool seeing Ahsoka. Beautifully shot, awesome set, cool action. Like it just does everything I want in a Mandalorian episode. So yeah, I loved it. Maybe I'm gonna keep it on A tier for now though. Then we have the I forgot what this episode is called, but the Boba Fett episode. And this is B plus for me. And this is another one that is just very action focused, like even maybe a bit more than the Siege. And it's just basically this action scene. And I do feel like the action scene is really well done. But for some reason, like the episode as a whole doesn't hit with me as much as that one, which may be a bit interesting. But I feel like the action is well done. And it's cool to see. What am I saying? It's cool to see Boba Fett back. I don't exactly like how they always handle Boba Fett in the Boba Fett show, but it's cool to see him back here and actually get to do things because he doesn't do anything in the original trilogy. He does more in this episode than he does in the whole original trilogy in terms of cool stuff. So that's really cool. And it ends with a big like shocker with Mando ship being destroyed and Grogu getting taken. I need to go through these a bit faster because I'm spending a long time on this. The chapter 15, The Believer, I think is one of the best. This is when Miggs became one of my favorite characters in it. I just love this conversation with him and this like Imperial thing. We get to see this whole other side of these characters of the Imperial. And the performance here is great. And we also get to see Mandalorian taking off his helmet in front of people. And you're just like, he shows how much he does care for Grogu and stuff. So I feel like that's like the moments that makes it really work, on top of having some like cool action and stuff. But I feel like just those character moments work really well. So that's why I'm going to put it there. And then chapter 16, it's got to go on the S tier because it's, I don't know, like it's this finale that works super well. We get Luke back, and that is awesome, obviously. His like scene where he's just destroying all the droids, so amazing. But then even on top of that, I love Grogu and Mandalorian's moment where he like leaves him. That just gets me so emotional. And like Mando takes off his helmet. We'll talk about a little bit about how Boba Fett changes this a bit, but in this individual scene, I love it. It's chapter 16. It's the rescue. I don't know how. Am I supposed to like rank these all? I probably should. I don't even know which one is my number one of these S tier. I know this is there, and this. This and that and that and that. Yep. And then this at top. That feels right. And then yeah, that seems right for ranking wise. Well, besides S tier, I don't really know how to rank those. But yeah, let's move on to Book of Boba Fett, which I've been talking very kindly about the Mandalorian because I love the Mandalorian, but I'm not quite as fond of Book of Boba Fett. I was pretty disappointed by it, except the Mandalorian episodes actually. But yeah. So let's put first episode of Boba Fett. I'll put on the C tier. I watched him like, okay, that was okay. Really didn't do anything for me. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much to say. It didn't really get me invested into the story. It didn't really get me invested into the characters. Didn't really get me invested into like the world. Didn't really do much at all for me, but it wasn't like got me extremely bored or anything. So I'm like, okay. Chapter 2 is probably the best episode of these first 4 episodes of Book of Boba Fett because I feel like even though like I got annoyed that it was very flashback heavy, I feel like the flashbacks work best in this episode because I feel like there's enough to them. So, but I don't know if I want to put on B tier. I'll still probably put on C tier, but I do feel like it works well enough. You have like a cool action scene and stuff. Then episode 3, episode 4, I just did not like these episodes. And yeah, like it's just, I don't care about anything. I don't care about what they're doing with Boba here. I don't think it works very well because I don't know. I don't care about Fennec. And they have like no chemistry at all with each other on that side of it. And then the flashbacks, they build some stuff with the Tusken Raiders, then they just all die and really come back. So it just feels all sort of pointless and everything. And then the stuff not in flashbacks, some of it's just really bad with the whole speeder bike chase, which is just really badly done. So I don't know. I don't have too much to say about these, but I did not like. I wanted to share this, but I can't get Twitter to do that. Like, why can't I just make an account without following their dang Twitter? I have no idea why you cannot do that. I don't actually have an account. I'm just doing the tier list without an account because you only have to have an account to make the tier list, not use them. Ayo, what is up, Campbell? Okay, let's finish this. I'll stick these 2 Mandalorian episodes on the A tier. Oh, sorry, Book of Boba Fett technically, even though they're Mandalorian episodes. Yeah, I feel like this one does a really good job of building the Mandalorian lore, and I'm just so happy to have Din back and stuff, and I loved showing how far he's gone away from his like Mandalorian group cult upbringing things, and like sort of how he actually has to leave them was pretty crazy. And yeah, and then the other one, we get Grogu back, we get Luke back, which feels kind of off because of these like CGI and fake voice and stuff. That's weird, but once you get past that, we get to see Luke and Grogu training. We get to see some other really nice stuff. So like, I don't know, I just love this episode. And like this showed me how much I did not care about these last couple episodes of the first 4 episodes of Boba Fett. Like the moment I watched episode 5, I'm like, oh man, like I just was so happy, and like just reminded me how much I do love the Mandalorian and love these characters. So maybe I'll even love them a bit more because they came after Book of Boba Fett. And then the final episode, I'll put in B tier because I like it. It's pretty well done, but then the one thing I just really do not like is that Grogu and Grogu and Mando reunite. I just not a fan of that because I feel like it just takes away from the ending of season 2 to have it this soon. We haven't even gotten Mandalorian season 3 and they're already back together. Like, what? Like, I think they should have done a whole season of Mandalorian without Grogu. Maybe like the very last episode he reunites, but they should have really had it to do more time to really let that sink in. Even though I love Mando and Grogu together, I feel like having more time with them apart would really make them reuniting work so much better. So yeah, this is my tier list. Yeah. Yes. Let's move on to Star Wars lightsaber. Mando, Grogu and Mando hybrid. True. That is pretty disturbing to think about. I do agree there. Okay. Star Wars lightsaber fights. Star Wars lightsaber fights. That is the TV show ones. I don't know if I should do this because that's just Clone Wars and like that. That's too many. I just want movie fights. Lightsaber duels ranking. Is this good? Does this have them all? That has some show ones. And that does not have them all. Lightsaber, Star Wars Skywalker Saga, lightsaber battles. This seems good. I think this has everything. So let's do this in, I don't think there's any bad, right? There might be, but I think I can just do this. S tier. Oh, wait. Let's just go through in chronological order. So Phantom Menace fights. We got this one. I don't know. It's like a super short fight, so I don't really have much to say about it, but it's cool. We get to see Qui-Gon and Darth Maul go a little bit, boom, 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 and then it's sort of over. So that's why I can only put it in C tier, because it's not really much of a fight, but for what it is, it's actually pretty cool. Then do I put Duel of the Fates in S tier or A? Because wait, in one side of things, I'm gonna do this because there might actually be a D tier. On one side of things, like Duel of the Fates, the music, incredible. The choreography, amazing. I like the whole place they're fighting in, getting to see it all together is just so awesome scene. It's definitely my favorite scene of the Phantom Menace, which I'm not the biggest fan of. But do I put it on S tier because the final fight? Yes, I will put it in S tier. The only thing that would hold it back is some of these have those big emotional high stakes, but I feel like because it's just Darth Maul, who at this point we don't really know, it's just this random guy, it doesn't hit those emotional stakes as much. And even when Qui-Gon dies, it doesn't hit me that hard because Qui-Gon, we don't get to know him that well throughout this movie, and we just know him in one movie, so that'd be the only reason holding it back from S tier. But I feel like the other stuff is just too good, with especially choreography wise, that I got to keep it S tier. Attack of the Clones. This one, kind of want to put in D tier because I do not like this Attack of the Clones lightsaber fight. I feel like just like I don't know. It's just there's some weird choreography bits, like when the lights are out and like they're like doing these lightsaber motions super close to their face. Like there's not any actual choreography. And obviously Christopher Lee is like a beast, but he's still pretty old at this point, so he can't do as much stuff. And then there's some like just the place they're fighting at. It's just like some green screen place. It's a very boring place to fight. And I feel like almost every other lightsaber fight has such a cool like place and location they're fighting in. Like Duel of the Fates uses its location very well with like going through all these places. And then we have like some fights in like on Mustafar is like awesome, or like in the snowy forest, or like in this like cool place in like Empire. And this one's just like some boring old green screen room. So you'd say B or C tier for the Attack of the Clones one. And yeah, I guess I can understand that, but I don't know. I feel like just this is probably just my least favorite fight. So I feel like I gotta show it here because there's just not much. Oh, and then Yoda. I'm not really a fan of the whole Yoda fighting thing. Yeah, I just feel like it's just sort of feels silly and out of place with him fighting like that. Yes, first Vader versus Luke is so good. I will definitely put that in S tier. You know what? I'm going in order, but we can already just put this in S tier. I'll talk about it later though, because it's pretty obvious it's S tier. What's next? Revenge of the Sith has lots of ones. This first one with their final fight against Dooku, definitely a better fight against Dooku, but just as a cool like opening lightsaber duel, it's pretty neat. Then we have, I don't. We can only talk about the actual lightsaber fighting part of this fight, not the other part of Obi-Wan and Grievous' fight. And it's not one of my favorite lightsaber fights. I don't think there's too much to go off of. I kind of like don't have much to say. It does have a great vitality, but I'm gonna put that top of C tier. Where do I put the Mace Windu versus Sidious? The first part where Sidious just kills all the other Jedi, that's kind of lame. But then after that, we do get cool Mace Windu fight versus Sidious, so I'll put that on B tier. Then we have Yoda versus Palpatine, which is a very awesome fight scene. Definitely works better than Yoda. Or do you want to put in A tier or just B plus? I'll put it in B plus. But yeah, I do really like this. And in terms of Yoda fighting, I feel like this one works better, and we get to see Sidious in action a lot too. So that's really cool stuff. Yeah. And then this fight, I gotta put in S tier because, it's like Obi-Wan versus Anakin. It's like 8 minutes of them actually like fighting. Like that's how long it is. And we just get so many cool moments. They're just fully going at it. We go through all these places like Mustafar. We get all the emotion like swirling. Like this is just such an awesome fight to in the trilogy with. So yeah, S tier and ahead of that there. Oh, New Hope fight. You are gonna go in the C tier. Love New Hope, my second favorite Star Wars movie, but like this fight is just not it, and kind of disappointing when it's like the final Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan fight. It's just like, and it's just like that. The other Anakin versus Obi-Wan fight, definitely a lot better, as you see, but yeah, it hasn't aged the best with choreography wise and everything. So yeah, but luckily, the next fight, the Empire Strikes Back fight, has aged a lot better because I think this fight is just like amazing. The location that it's at and the way it's able to use its location is so cool. The actual choreography is super well done. The like vibe you get, like Darth Vader just has like this super imposing, threatening thing. It's just all so good. And then of course we get the big reveal at the end. The big twist. I'm guessing this was for the Obi-Wan and Darth Vader fight and not the Luke versus Darth Vader fight. Because yeah, then I'd agree. So yeah, this easy S tier, love it. Revenge of the Sith fight. This one I'll also put in another S tier. I feel like there's like nothing in A, but we'll see. There probably will be some too, because I feel like this is another just like super awesome like fight, getting to see them rematch with Luke being more trained and like all the just like emotions. Like one of my favorite Star Wars scenes is this throne room stuff, and I feel like this is just really well done. Awesome choreography too. Now we're into sequel trilogy, and where do I want to pit Rey versus Kylo Ren, and also like Finn versus Kylo Ren? Oh, they sort of separated Kylo Ren versus Finn. I'm not doing that because this is just one fight for me. And the hard thing with this fight for me is because I think it works really well as a fight in some ways, but not as others. Like because Kylo Ren is injured at this point, and Rey is not as skilled lightsaber, the actual choreography isn't the most exciting. It's not like the just boom, 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 like awesomeness stuff. But I do feel like as a scene, it works really well, and just like visually, it looks awesome and stuff. So I can't really put it on that top tier just because like it's not anything too special in the choreography, but I do understand why. But I will put it on B plus tier. Yeah, honestly, I might put A for Rey and Kylo Ren because I feel like I don't know. I still remember just like watching that in the theater and stuff, and it is still pretty awesome even with its limitations. Then we have the Last Jedi fights. So the first one is the Rey and Kylo Ren versus all the guards fight, and now I know some people have sort of complained about this a bit later as they noticed some like more just random like small little mistakes in the choreography. But here's what you have to say. No one noticed that when they first watched this scene. You only really notice that if you're like watching in slow motion or watching things. I remember watching this for the first time in theater, just how awesome it was, and just like seeing like this. It's just an awesome scene. Also, like the red background just looks awesome. Like visually, this episode, like where it takes place and stuff, looks so cool. Them fighting the guards, we get a lot of different stuff, and I feel like it's a really awesome scene. One of my favorite scenes in The Last Jedi. So that's also gonna go in A tier. The Luke versus Kylo Ren's all another interesting one because it's not really much of a fight. Like they never actually make contact, but I love it as a scene. So it's kind of hard to how do I rank it as a lightsaber fight versus how's a scene. But I do think that even despite it not being a lightsaber fight, much of an actual fight, I can't put on S tier. But I still like how it's like Luke sort of toying with Kylo Ren, and then we get the reveal that he's there, and it's like awesome redemption for Luke. And that's why I don't really get. Well, I mean, I can get to the extent the criticisms of Luke in The Last Jedi, but I feel like by the end of the movie, with this scene, he's like redeemed and back to his old Luke. So that's why the complaint does bother me. Like I'm not fully on board with it because I do love Luke in The Last Jedi. I didn't love it at first, but I feel like after thinking about it and stuff, I do love Luke in The Last Jedi. So that's why. Yeah, and I also love Kylo Ren and seeing this confrontation. And talking about visually stunning, great is beautiful. This is some of my favorite shots in all Star Wars. Beautiful stuff where like they're like first. Oh, definitely an A tier. Now we're on to The Rise of Skywalker. Oh, they actually separated the Yoda versus Count Dooku and the other thing. That's sort of one fight for me, so I'm not gonna include that. This one is this little like fight between Rey and Kylo. Not much there, but it's okay, I guess. Then we have Rey versus Kylo, and just another just cool visually as we're like fighting with all the like ocean like coming in, and like there's that scene where like the wave like crashes onto Kylo and he pulls out his lightsaber. Awesome stuff. And I feel like the choreography here isn't like it has a different style than the prequel one. It's not like the super fast-paced one, but I still feel like it works really well, and I think it's just a really cool fight. Bit of underrated fight. So do you want to put it in A? Nah, I'll put it in B plus tier because I do really like this fight, but not one of my all-time favorites. Kind of meh, just like the movie. Yeah, I understand that, and I would agree with some of them, but I do think the scene that I just picked is one of my favorite scenes in the movie with Rey versus Kylo. This main one in the like water place, like on the Death Star ruin stuff. So yeah, but the rest I'd sort of agree with. And then we have like Ben versus these guards. It's like kind of a mixed one because I loved finally getting to see Ben Solo be Ben Solo, and like even when he does his little like shrug thing just like his dad, that's awesome. And part of this is awesome, but then there's also some very weird off choreography in it, and also it just goes by so fast. You're just what that already happened. The Knights of Ren are dead and like all that, and it feels super rushed and stuff. So I wanted to love this scene, but I can't quite do it. But I feel like there's enough that still makes me like this fight. And yeah, that's basically what I have. To rank these, I'll do this. This feels about right for ranking them. So yeah, that is my ranking for all the lightsaber fights in Star Wars. I feel like I only did 2 tier lists, but I can't talk for like 40 minutes, so I'm probably just gonna end the stream. But happy May the 4th, everyone. Thank you guys for you who did watch, and I had fun doing these tier lists and stuff. So yeah. I definitely want to do some more Star Wars content because I do love Star Wars. But yeah, that's what I have. So bye.